Hear it. Well, I'm going to go ahead, if nobody has anything that they want to share right up front, I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody because I have something I want to share. Now, for those of you who are new, normally I try not to come into these with any kind of idea of what I'm going to talk about. I just sort of see where I am and what's been coming up in my day or in my meditation that I do right before this, or in the energies that are coming my way during the week from consultations or various sources. But tonight I have something, you know, it's pretty much impossible to focus on much else other than the obvious of what's going on in our world. So I'm going to do some of that. And normally I don't do this that I'm getting ready to do. I will just give a little talk and then I'll do a meditation and then open it up for questions and comments. But tonight I have something I want to share. So I'm going to mute everybody here. And at the end, when I open it up for questions and comments, feel free to unmute yourself, ask your questions, you know, make yourself at home here by all means. I'm just realizing we're missing a couple of people that I knew were going to come, but we're just going to continue. Now, some of you know that every week I meet with my friend Corinne in Australia, and we do a little mini satsang or meditation together, a deep meditation together every week. And she's sort of my sounding board in a lot of ways, and she has been for quite a while. And we have now started meeting more frequently because of everything that's going on, and there's so much energy that's stirred up. We met Friday and Saturday night, and I have some notes from the meditation, especially on Friday night, that came out. And I'm going to share with you the things that came up. And these are things that just I voiced during meditation. So I think that it's I'm going to be working with these. I'm probably going to create a video this week to share this more publicly. But I want to share it with you because you're my little family here. I also want to mention, I am on day 5 of a fast. I've been fasting and doing sort of deep meditation and prayer every single day. So I'm feeling particularly powerful tonight in a transmission kind of way. And those of you who've been on here many times, you know I don't normally say that. So I say that to say you might want to really kind of, when we get into the meditation for this evening, really lean into the sense of connection here that we have, okay? All right, I'm going to share with you a few things that came up during my meditation. And the meditations have been consistently, basically, how can I be of help? How can I be of service, given my abilities, given my access and things like that during this time? So these are the things that have come up, and they're in no particular order. The first is that what's happening in the big picture is a momentum towards the world belonging to the people now, as opposed to the world, our reality that we live in, belonging to the systems that we operate within. As these systems begin to be challenged, the infrastructure is starting to crumble. It's all in an evolutionary path leading us to the world eventually belonging to the people. And by that I mean the world belonging to a reality where we live by our true nature. So that's sort of the course that's underway, and there's a lot more that's to be revealed over time. Now, whether that time is a week or a year or 2 or 10, I don't know, but that's what came up. The second thing is that we're strongly encouraged now to build a reservoir of calm, to literally be mindful of how much capacity we have for our calmness. And it's not just that we may need this in the days ahead, but it's also what we're as a stable presence of for the collective. So there's a massive call for building our reserves of calmness. And again, I'm going to be creating a video where I can talk a little bit more about this. And a very interesting thing that came up, and I experienced this through the body as it was coming up, was that This is a time where we need to pay very close attention, in particular, for people who are interested in the chakra systems, to the first three chakras, the root chakra, second chakra, third chakra. And it's related to the shifting energies in our world right now as we shift magnificently from masculine to feminine energies, from a dominating energy to more of a nurturing kind of energy. And so where this plays out in particular is care for the second chakra. And so we're being encouraged to be mindful about practices that can help us align and stabilize and really nourish those lower three chakras, the root chakra, second and third. And in line with that, there was also this very, very pointed message about paying attention to the little things that we are doing or choosing to do, or that we're nurturing during this time, because every little thing matters. And it is the little things in, like, you know, sending someone a note, or just appreciating the flowers or whatever. These little bitty things right now are having a really big effect. So be very mindful about the little things that you're choosing to do, because these are the seeds now that are being planted in very fertile soil. So these little things now have a bigger purpose. And on that, there was a very sweet sentence that came out that said, it's helpful for us to think about blessing every moment. That literally just thinking about blessing this moment. It was very sweet. And on this same note was the idea of being very mindful about what you're nurturing for yourself and others in this time. And by that, the clear internal message was about fear, whether we're nurturing fear or we're nurturing love in other people. What are we really paying attention to? What is our real motivation for what we're doing? Are we doing it motivated by fear, or are we doing it motivated by love? And just checking that intention is a very helpful tool for letting you see, helping you make the choice about what you want to nurture in this time. Another message that was very clear is that we have no need whatsoever to be focused on a future outcome. None whatsoever. The call right now is to be focused on the outcome of this moment. That's it. That's as far as we need to go, the outcome of this moment, and then this moment. It's a very present-based outcome that we're to be focused on. The other thing is that we are, as we're called to create a reservoir of calm, we're also encouraged to realize that we're, and I've said this many, many times in my teachings, and for those of you who've done my courses, you know that I talk about increasing our capacity. And this is a time where all conditions are set up for us to increase our capacity for more and more wisdom to come in, for more and more wisdom to come in through the channels that have actually been opened through the forces of this virus or the fear pandemic that's following it. And so using these open channels now to to access our capacity for more wisdom is really, really important. And we increase it more when we go within, when we do the meditations within, and when we come together in moments like this to do meditations collectively. This is this exponentially increases those channels and our capacity as well. There was a very funny line at the end on Friday night from the Divine Presence that says, we're not messing around. That this is a really it's an obvious, intense time, but it's a very intentional process on every level. And there's to be no misunderstanding that this is a very collective intention at this time. So they're not messing around. And then the last thing that I wanted to share is that there was a message about what's coming is an incredible hunger for the soul to be quenched by love. That it is like on the far side of what's happening right now, there's going to be a massive call for the quenching of the soul only by love, because when we get on further along in this process, what we will find is that the old paradigms simply have no nourishing value at all. Like, we realize that we cannot be nourished by them at all. And so there's an increased a desire. That's what this is, a desire for that quenching of the soul in love. So that's, and which makes perfect sense to me. So those are the very fun things that are just some highlights of the last couple of days. And I have no idea how I'm going to be working with it. And I have no idea what else is coming. More things have come today in my own meditations. So we have a robust week ahead in terms of things that I may be putting out. And I may run some of it by you guys first, as I like to do, or I may just put it out publicly. I don't know. So we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, so those are the fundamentals of what's been going on, and a little bit of heads up into my world here. So why don't we use that as a jumping off point to do a nice deep meditation. And I think in this meditation, what we want to do, let me just feel into this for a second. Yeah, is connect very richly in a place of stillness, in a deep place of stillness, and feeling into the calm within that. Feeling deeply into the calm within that. And I'm going to, at some point, introduce I'll tell you now, I'm going to introduce a column of light into this, because I'm just remembering now, one of the other things that came up was this is a time for sort of really as we bring in the light, as we bring in this sense of calm and presence, there's a particular focus on the organs right now, and particularly the organs around the first, second, and third chakras. And that there's a lot of, how did I phrase this? I don't remember how I phrased it, but it's a lot of, there's a lot of renewing going on here. And so we want to, as we focus, when I bring in this light, we're going to actually focus that light very specifically on the organs of the body. So I'm just telling you that to be prepared. All right. All right. So let's begin. Let's get into a nice, comfy position. Our eyes closed, our body relaxed. Grounding ourselves in the intention here tonight to come together, to connect in service to ourselves, to each other, and to humanity. anchoring ourselves in the sincerity of that intention. And in this connection, we're becoming aware now of our own surroundings, the room that we're sitting in, the space that we're in, the community that we're in. We're aware of any sounds that we can hear, whether those sounds are far away or near. The quality of those sounds, the differences in the sounds. Just uniting with this awareness. Now becoming aware of everything that we can sense and feel. Any movements around, the temperature of the air, the feel of that air against our skin. Just uniting with this awareness, everything becoming one. Now we're going to take a nice deep breath in, and when we breathe out, we're just going to relax our body into the field that we're part of. Take a nice deep breath in. And deeply relax into this field, uniting all of the body with the space that we're in, the body losing its boundaries. Our body becoming aware of its union with this space. Take another nice deep breath in. And relax even more deeply into this. Letting our mind relax and flow out. All of our thoughts just drifting out into the field, the body, without any boundaries, without any center. With every breath, with every pulse of our heart, we sink more deeply into the depths of this space. All boundaries in our environments disappearing. We're going to take another nice deep breath in, and this time when we exhale, we're going to push ourselves out into the field, expanding our awareness and our spaciousness. Take a nice deep breath in. And breathe down into this beautifully. Feel the expansiveness all around and down. Feeling into the subtle nuances of the fabricness of this field. Letting ourselves feel and perceive only with the energy. I'm going to count down from 3 to 1. And with every breath down, we expand out exponentially. Expanding out, we're going to take a nice deep breath in. Out from 3. Down to 2. Down to 1. Feeling ourselves wafting here. Limitless. Feeling down into the depths of this field. We can sense a purity of stillness. Allowing ourselves to unite fully with that stillness. Embodying all of the calm. Every speck of energy embodied in calm. We can feel in the depths of the stillness and this calm the anchoring effect that it has within ourselves, within humanity, and for the planet. We can easily recognize the priceless value of that in these times. This reservoir of calm, this field of calm and stillness, is also, we can think of it a little like a black hole, or a portal, if you will, for any old patterns, any old reactions that we recognize when we center ourselves in this calm, that which comes up within us. We're invited to simply drop it in, drop it through this channel out into the field. We're not rejecting what is, we're simply releasing it into the field of divine love, into the calmness that it's seeking. You can be mindful of how this stillness feels in the field, how this sense of calm feels throughout all of your energy, anchoring this memory in. It's accessible at any time, and we're encouraged to access it often. The more we do, the greater our capacity, and the more we are that reflection to others. We cannot stress enough how important it is to think about what you are reflecting, what you are contributing in your home environment, in your community, in the collective right now. Every little moment matters. Within my field right now, I'm experiencing a great radiation of the conveyance of that feeling. So I will encourage you to lean in into our connection in this moment. A reassurance again and again of the value of this calm stillness. Of the importance of being aware of what we're nourishing. Now, from within the depths of the stillness, from as far, far into this as you can sense, you can imagine light rising up, a very certain, strong, powerful, white light. What you can sense in this is a certain intention, a determination, an absolute determined power. That is the luminous quality of this light. It's palpable. You can imagine it rising up from within this stillness, through the calmness, illuminating everything along the way, and then coming in through our root chakra in a very broad column up through the entire body, up through the head, and as far into the field upward as we can imagine. So that we are in a certain stabilizing column of light. With everything within us being bathed, being nourished. And in particular, we can feel into the lower organs around the stomach, the belly button, the second chakra, root chakra. Feeling that light infusing. Just relaxing into this moment as we're being cared for. So what I'm hearing right now is that everyone is encouraged to, in their meditative states, in their quiet, still, calm states, to feel into, to discern within, to perceive with the internal awareness, light within. Now, we want to caution here to say that it's not necessarily light as you would think it normally. It may be, but it may also be just really intense clarity. And, you know, as you may be familiar with sudden insights or mystical experiences or things like that. But this is an opportunity now. We're being called into discerning that with intention, that the availability of these things is heightened, especially as we create more stillness and calm within. It's literally like as we discern or aim to discern or perceive these things, it's a little like we're calling them into the field, which means that we're calling these things into the collective. And that's what we're being asked to do in general. It's also clear that there is so much that is stirred up that there's no need to try to put things in any kind of sequential order, that things may happen randomly or information may come about randomly, or whatever. In the big scheme of things, it's helping in the way that we need, in the time and the way that we need, whether it makes sense to us right now or not. And likely it will not. But just to take it all in, allow it all in without any kind of mental exercise of analysis or meaning or trying to put the puzzles together yet. We're not there yet. As we've said, there's a lot to be revealed, and it will not necessarily be revealed in the way that the mind can take it in a linear fashion. Everyone is encouraged to take additional or extra, it's not the word, specific notice of the care of their body during this time in terms of what they're putting into their body. I'm saying this from a fasting state, but there is a clear correlation between what we put into our body and the emotions that are happening around what we're putting into our body, and the intentions that are tied to it, whether we're conscious of those intentions or not. So just to be mindful about our intention of what we're putting into the body at this time. Whatever we put in is part of the process. It is part of the attention of the body, part of the attention of the energy. So we're just being mindful to allow ourselves as much spaciousness in our interior life right now as possible. There's a very clear reminder here that love is present Love is seeking to be known now within each of us. Not in an occasional way, not in a belief, but in an embodied presence, in the walking life of love. We're encouraged to be mindful of that possibility of being aware of ourselves as this, waking up to that true self-realization. It's a wonderful thing that we offer the collective in gathering like this. There's a great gratitude throughout the universe. And we may be called again and again to meet in a more instructive manner than has previously been happening. As the information continues to come through and things continue to shift and openings continue to happen, there may be an opportunity and a request for us to meet more frequently. And if that's the case, I can let you know. For now, we're all being thanked massively for our willingness to be here together. As you feel comfortable, you can wiggle your toes and your fingers. I'm happy to, we've got a few minutes. I'm happy to open it up, take any questions or comments. It's nice to see a couple more people on here. Hi, Reverend Carol. If you want to make a comment or question, feel free to unmute yourself and then mute yourself again. Hi, Mia.
Hey, I wanted to thank you again, but I had a similar download as you did, that it was first, second, and third chakra. And it was, I too am on a juice fast, and that started last week, and it was so powerful. And I didn't really understand it, and you really pulled it together. And I am really having a, like many, difficult time dealing with those that are reacting to this virus in a negative way, like through the ego or anger, or it's not really happening. And Do you have any comments on that? How to deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Mia, we've been together for a while now, so you know that my advice is going to be to love what's coming up for them, right? If they aren't able in their own body to love their fear, because they're so mired and focused on that fear, to love them right where they are, and to be a reflection of an alternative choice, and not try to convince them of any other thing that they need to feel, because that's a resistance, kind of rejecting their fear, right? And we don't want to reject their fear. Their fear is crying out for love. And so the opportunity to be the presence of love, the witness as love to that fear. And, you know, the language that comes with that, if you need a verbal response, is, you know, I see that you're in great fear. And, you know, this is certainly a time where fear has been called up in all. And then just talk about, you know, your own space of love in that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I mean, I see it a lot here, and I'm certainly getting a lot of emails from people. They just need a little, you know, a little change of perspective sometimes. But I'm also very intentional right now in terms of my public outreach to not dig too deep into dogma or philosophies of trying to convince people to feel something different. Instead, I'm posting things that are funny. Or you know, I'm just giving people an avenue into something else to be focused on for just a moment, because in that brief moment something else can come in, and then, you know, I'll also try to post something inspiring at the same time, or in a different way, or talk about how many people I find it very helpful to talk about how many people are now, you know, signing up for my course, and how many people are getting grounded in something helpful. To use the language of service and helpful and things like that is also another option than fear, from fear. Yep, you're welcome. And hi to your dog. We don't normally see your dog. Who is your dog?
This is Buddy.
Hi, Buddy.
I feel more grounded than I have been for years, and it's almost like I feel like I was meant to be here at this time.
Good. Yes. Yes. Good. You know, Jody and Mia, we've all known each other for a while now, and I've known you, you know, individually through different ways. And both of you, it's like different worlds from when we first met. And so both of you now talking about the calm that you experience is so beautiful. I'm very happy. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Steve, did you want to make a comment?
Yeah, kind of towards the end of the meditation, there was this experience, I guess, that was saying, this is taking the first step into the unknown. Which first of all requires trust.
Yes, that was the first thought I had.
And releasing all expectations. That, you know, am I doing this right?
Yep.
Should I be feeling something?
Right.
And you know, I go back to the, you know, the purity of the willingness, just opening the door, in that allowing then of the whatever to pass through us. Kind of like a, well, you said it in one of your meditations, it might have been the last 14th day, we're no longer a vessel, we're a portal.
Right. And Steve's referring to the Divine Vibe course. Those last two references are from the Divine Vibe course. Yeah, yeah, and, that's right.
I guess I go into it usually thinking, well, how do I become this portal? What do I need to do to be this portal?
Right.
And it was like towards the end of the meditation, it was just do this, nothing,
Be willing.
be willing and be expectation free, be judgment free, because without expectation, you cannot judge. There's nothing to judge then.
Right. That's right. Well said.
And it's, the last, probably 4 or 5 days, you had left almost 2 weeks ago, Tuesday, and it was probably last weekend. I just felt this great tension in my chest. Like this heavy burden of this environment that was developing.
Yeah, you weren't alone.
And I'll tell you, in the last definitely 3 or 4 days, there's just kind of been this peace. There's not been this anxiety that, I should be going out and, doing stuff that I would normally do. I don't feel that I'm missing, activities,
Good.
that sort of thing. And it's just like, this is okay.
Good. Good. Well, we're all getting a jump on this stillness and calmness, and this is exactly what I've been told is the key right now. So, and you can feel in the meditation, in this moment, in this meditation, it was very, very clear the sense of strength in that. Relative, juxtaposed against everything, the swirl of all of the global panic and that sort of stuff. So this is good. I'm very happy to hear that, Steve. Thank you very much. We've got, now it's a little after 8:30. I'm happy to stick on here and answer more questions or take more comments if you all want to stick around for a bit. I realize I went on for a while this evening, so happy to stay around if you guys want to. Reverend Carol?
I just have a short comment. This is the first Patron group that I've been with, although we've been friends and a supporter for some time. And so I just wanted to introduce myself and say hello and say how interesting it is that now after everything, I find myself here.
I'm very happy that you're here. Reverend Carol is the minister at and founder, I think, of Center for Conscious Living in Morristown, New Jersey. And I've known her since she invited me there in 2016. And just saw her this year. I did a talk there and a retreat with some of her folks there as well. So I'm so happy that you're here, Carol. I think of you often during this. I think of all of the ministers that have congregations that they're leading through this unprecedented time, and the ways that we can support each other through all of this. So I'm delighted that you're here. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, you may have been mentioned this morning.
Thank you. It's good to have you here. Eliza, did you have something you want to say?
I wanted to share 2 bits of imagery from the meditation. One was that in the purity of stillness, as you called it, eventually I got a sense of a kind of command center deep under water. The surface was raging, but there was no awareness of that.
Excellent.
Yeah. And what has stayed with me through most of the meditation, it's still with me, is this sense of my hands are being clasped by the divine presence. Like there's just a real sense of being guided, but also being team member.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it.
With the divine being,
Yeah.
but also with this group and with everyone who's participating in this kind of effort. And boy, does that feel good. So
Oh,
thank
that's really awesome. That's really nice. What a wonderful image. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good. Thank you. Ijan, do you want to say something?
Yes, I wanted to introduce myself. I am one of those who recently took your course, and I'm on day 6 today.
Okay.
Thank you so much for the offer. I really appreciate it, and I am benefiting from it a lot. And
Good.
I have been very calm for last 2 weeks, I suppose, since everything started going haywire here regarding the coronavirus. And I'm still calm, but today my experience has been, since the morning, a sense of grieving.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I don't know where it came from exactly, but that has been my experience.
Well, that's good. That's excellent. And I recommend that you invite that grief to speak to you in a calm meditative state, to just unite with that grief in incredible embrace and love, and see if it has something that it wants to tell you, if it wants you to understand or whatever. It's not necessary that we do. All that's necessary is that we allow it, right? It's full, it's seeking the embrace here. And but it would be interesting to see if it's coming from a particular place. But I've actually heard, I've been contacted by many people that are talking about not only just a general sense of grief, but also old grief that's coming up from various losses or things like that. So it can come from myriad sources. And when you think about sort of fundamentally what's happening in our world, it makes sense that grief would be front and center, because there's a lot of loss of our old ways of normalcy, or things that we know or have known in our conditioned life, which doesn't mean that we haven't loved it, right? And so grief makes good sense right now. So I strongly recommend that you just hold it close in your heart, embrace it, and listen to what it has to share with you.
No, I have absolutely no rejection to whatever I feel.
Good.
It's a nice walk. I stopped really well, and I said I love you to myself, and I embrace you with everything that you're feeling. So there's no rejection.
Excellent. Outstanding. Well done.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
good.
today also.
My pleasure. It genuinely is my pleasure. Thank you for being here. It helps me. All right, Jody, you want to say something?
If I can speak, there were so many times when you were talking today that tears of, like, ancient tears of understanding what's happening right now and why we're all here. I just want to thank you for being the voice that helps me to find those parts in myself again.
You're very welcome, Jody. It's my honor, truly. It's my honor. I'm glad to be united with you in this way. It's been a lovely journey, hasn't it? Yeah, truly.
It has. And then on the more mundane level, I would just like to say, I'm having the weirdest fucking dream.
Do you want to share a weird fucking dream with us?
I don't remember, but they wake me up all the time. The one last night was like, there was this beautiful flower arrangement, and then I was moving things around, and these flowers were rotten in the middle, and the petals kept falling off. I just thought, oh, that's kind of like this world right now. It kind of looks okay on the outside,
Isn't that interesting?
rotten on the inside.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Those are really powerful.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I suppose you have a way of internally processing things that's happening in your dream states that aren't able to happen in your waking life. So
Yeah, that's what I've heard, that that's how things work. I don't know, but
wow.
it's
Well,
true.
you know, if things get too intense, I'm here for you if you ever need to just
Thank
talk
you.
about it, you know.
Thank you so
Or
much.
just for somebody to sit and go, wow, that's amazing. If nothing else. Good. All right. Well, thank you for sharing. Does anybody else have anything before we go? No?
I do.
Oh, who said that? Wait, Ashley and William? Uh, who just said that?
Yeah, we both
I think we both did. Yeah.
Okay, Ashley, you're on my screen, so you go first.
Okay. So really quick, I was just going to say, I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but a couple of things have been happening as I've been doing the course again. And one is that I found, and really just within the last 24 hours, and I will also say I'm having really crazy dreams. So I'm on that bandwagon with you, and I journal my dreams a lot and try to go through and process that way. But I have been craving really intense, bright colors, like in my house, like wanting to just paint all the walls and be surrounded by really bright, cheerful colors. And then today, it was interesting what you were saying about what we put in our bodies, because there were a couple times today that I had meat. Like I ate some pepperoni at lunch, and then we had tacos for dinner, and I just could not stomach it. Like it just grossed me out so much. And I thought, oh, I think I'm going to have to be a vegetarian for a little bit, because I normally am fine with eating meat. And I was just so grossed out of nowhere today. So I'm wondering if that has to do with what you were saying. And the last thing I will say is that it took me a bit to get into the meditation. And then right towards the end, just as you were calling everybody back, I felt my whole body being lifted way, 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 way up into this really bright light. And then I was kind of trying to hang out there while everyone sort of started talking again. I'm having a really hard time coming back into my body. So it's getting a little better, but I was really, really dizzy when I opened my eyes again. So that's my comment.
Well, you know, this is going to be recorded, and I will post it on the Patreon site. So you're welcome to do the meditation again if you want to do it again, and if you want to see if you can sink more deeply into that. And anytime that you feel your body lifted up, you know, feel free to try to stay there as long as you can, because it's happened for a reason. And the longer that we can linger in those places, the more things are happening in our field, the more things are being infused a little bit. So, but I want to mention something, Ashley, on what you said about your bright colors. That's excellent, because there is a vibrancy to what's happening at the metaphysical level. There's a big vibrancy to what's going on. On this level, it feels very surreal and kind of numb, and you know, even in you know, we see the bright colors of spring coming in, but in that there has a feeling of kind of a grayness to what's happening in the field right now. But from the metaphysical level, there's a lot of vibrancy. So it makes perfect sense that you would seek that, that connection, especially you, Ashley, in your world, in your environment. So good on you. Paint those bright colors. Cool. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks.
And then it was William. Are you there?
Yes, thank you. This is also my first time.
Welcome.
Oh, can you see me and hear me? Oh, it's my internet is unstable. My internet is unstable.
We can hear you.
So maybe you're having trouble hearing. You can hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you.
It's my internet. Okay. I'm here because my sister is actually an attendee here by telephone. She's often on the call, and she told me about your course. I'm in day 3 of your course, and she was planning on being on the call today, but I think she's been on the telephone a lot today because our family suffered a tragedy last night. My sisters and my niece accidentally overdosed. Our niece overdosed accidentally last night, and she is no longer with us.
Hmm. Is your sister Tigger?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tigger Bruin, all of you.
She was
who've been on
meaning
here
to be
before
on
know
the call
Tigger.
today, but she's been on the telephone a lot. Yeah.
Wow, that's a big
So,
thing for the family to deal with. My condolences to all of you.
yeah. Thank you.
And please pass along our condolences to Tigger as well.
I will.
Well, this is a very surreal time for your family. It's just compounded by more unexpectedness. I'm sorry to hear that.
About grief was very important for me to hear.
Good. Yes, 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 yes. Well, I'm glad that you're here with us tonight, William, and I hope that this and the course is of some measure of comfort to you, and to Tigger. I know that Tigger is part of this as well, so thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else want to say anything before we go? Nope. All right. I have loved my time with you all, and I will see you. If I don't see you during the week, then I will see you next Sunday. May our time together be of benefit to all beings. Namaste, namaste.
Namaste.